There comes a time in life when you must recognize that certain chapters are meant to close. Seasons change, people move on, and situations shift. But the problem is many of us try to hold on to what God has already finished. You must understand something. Whatever God allows to end in your life was never meant to be permanent. Some relationships, some opportunities, some positions, we were only there for a season. When God says it's over, it's over. And if you try to hold on, you will only delay your own destiny. It is in these moments that we begin to ask, why did this happen? Why did this relationship fall apart? Why did this door close? Why did this opportunity slip away? But I want you to hear this today. Whatever God allows to end in your life was never meant to be permanent. Too many people spend their lives mourning over what God has already removed. They cry over friendships that ended, jobs that were lost, seasons that have shifted. But what we fail to understand is that God does not make mistakes. When something comes to an end, it is because its purpose in your life has been fulfilled. The problem is we get so attached to the temporary that we start treating it like it was supposed to be forever. Look around you. Everything in creation operates in seasons. The trees lose their leaves, but they do not mourn because they know new leaves will come. The night falls, but it does not fight against the morning because it knows light will rise again. When we fail to recognize the natural order of seasons, we end up holding on to what was meant to pass away. Some of you are still carrying the weight of past relationships. You are still crying over the people who left. You are still grieving over the ones who walked away, the ones who betrayed you, the ones who disappeared. But let me tell you something. If they could leave, they were never assigned to your destiny. If they walked away, it means their part in your story was complete. Stop trying to keep people who were only meant to be in your life for a chapter. You cannot hold on to something that God has already finished. When something ends, it is because it has served its purpose. Maybe that job was only meant to teach you a lesson. Maybe that friendship was only meant to help you through a specific season. Maybe that opportunity was only supposed to prepare you for something greater. But when we refuse to accept the ending, we delay the beginning of something new. Some of you are asking God for a new season while still clinging to the old one. You want a fresh start, but you are still holding on to past hurts, past disappointments, and past failures. You cannot step into tomorrow if you are still living in yesterday. There is a reason why the windshield of a car is bigger than the rearview mirror. Because what is ahead of you is far more important than what is behind you. When you understand that endings are divine, you stop fighting them. You stop resisting the change. You stop begging for things to stay the same. You realize that God is not taking something from you. He is preparing you for something greater. Abraham had to leave his homeland before he could step into his destiny. Joseph had to be separated from his family before he could walk into his purpose. David had to leave the shepherd's field before he could take the throne. Separation always comes before elevation. When something ends, don't see it as a loss, see it as preparation. Some of you have been praying, God, show me my purpose, show me my destiny. But when he starts closing doors, you fight to keep them open. You cry, Lord, why did they reject me? Why did they turn their back on me? But what if God was answering your prayer? What if that rejection was protection? What if that closed door was a divine redirection? You must come to a place where you trust the wisdom of God more than your own emotions. Stop crying over what he has already removed. Stop longing for what he has already released you from. Stop chasing after what he has already let go. If God allowed it to end, it was never meant to be permanent. Today, make up your mind. I will no longer mourn over what was. I will not fight the will of God. I will embrace the new season he is bringing me into, because I know that if he allowed it to end, there is something greater ahead of me. Life moves in one direction, forward. Yet so many people remain stuck in a place they should have left long ago, clinging to what is already gone, holding on to what has already been removed. You cannot move forward while clinging to the past, no matter how much you wish things had turned out differently. No matter how much you try to rewind time, the truth remains. Yesterday is gone. There are people who have spent years of their lives trapped in regret, reliving past mistakes, rehearsing past conversations, replaying old memories. They cry over doors that have already closed, friendships that have already faded, and opportunities that have already passed. But the problem is, as long as you are looking back, you cannot see what is ahead. If you are constantly turning around to revisit yesterday, you will miss the doors that are opening in front of you today. If you keep reliving what happened, you will never step into what could be. The past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. You were never meant to live there. Lot's wife made the mistake of looking back. She had the opportunity to step into a new future, a new land, a new season, but she could not let go of what was behind her. And because of that, she turned into a pillar of salt, a symbol of those who refuse to move forward. How many of us have become stuck, frozen in time because we refuse to let go? Some of you are still attached to relationships that ended years ago. You are still holding on to the pain of betrayal, the hurt of rejection, the sorrow of disappointment. But what you fail to realize is that as long as you keep your hands full of the past, you cannot receive what God has for you in the future. You cannot embrace new blessings while holding on to old burdens. You cannot step into a new season while dragging the weight of an old one. The reason why many people feel stuck is not because they have no future, but because they refuse to release their past. There is a reason why the past is behind you. There is a reason why time keeps moving forward. God is trying to take you somewhere, but you cannot get there if you keep looking back. Imagine a runner in a race constantly turning around to see who is behind him. He will lose momentum, he will slow down, and eventually he will fall behind. This is what happens when you allow your past to control your present. Regret will slow you down. Bitterness will slow you down. Unforgiveness will slow you down. If you want to move forward, you must make a decision. I will no longer allow my past to define me. Some of you are waiting for closure, waiting for an apology that may never come, waiting for things to make sense. But let me tell you something. Closure is a decision, not an event. If you are waiting for someone to apologize before you move on, you are giving them power over your future. You do not need closure to heal. You do not need an explanation to be free. All you need is the decision to let go. Paul said, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forward to those things which are ahead. He understood that progress requires focus. You cannot reach forward if your hands are still gripping the past. You cannot move into your destiny while being held captive by your history. Some of you have been asking God for a new season, but the truth is, He cannot give you what is next until you release what was. The reason you feel stuck is not because God has not opened new doors, but because you are still standing in the hallway of old ones. Stop crying over the past. Stop mourning over what did not work. Stop longing for what God has already removed. What God has for you is ahead of you, not behind you. The best days of your life are not in your past, they are in your future, but you will never walk into them if you keep looking back. Today, make a decision. I will no longer be bound by what was. I will not let my past define my future. I am moving forward because my destiny is too great to stay stuck in yesterday. Pain is one of the greatest teachers in life, yet most people try to avoid it, numb it, or run from it. But the truth is, pain is a sign that something is changing, something is growing, something is shifting. If you are feeling pain, it means you are alive, it means you are moving, it means something is happening inside of you. Too many people want growth without discomfort, healing without struggle, promotion without process. But if you avoid pain, you avoid the very thing that is meant to shape you. You cannot develop without pressure. You cannot mature without resistance. Just like muscles only grow when they are stretched and torn, your character only develops when you go through difficulties. When you look back on your life, The moments that shaped you the most were not the easy ones, they were the painful ones. The disappointments, the betrayals, the losses, the failures. Those were the moments that tested you, refined you, and made you stronger. The pain you experienced was not meant to destroy you, it was meant to teach you. But the problem is most people don't allow pain to teach them. Instead, they let it trap them. They let it make them bitter instead of better. They allow the wounds to remain open instead of letting them heal. But hear this today, pain is not your enemy, it is your classroom. It is trying to show you something. It's trying to build something inside of you. If you embrace it, it will strengthen you. If you resist it, it will break you. Some of you are in a season of pain right now, and you're asking, why me? Why am I going through this? Why is life so hard? But have you ever considered that maybe this pain is not happening to you, but for you? Maybe it is pushing you towards something greater. Maybe it is stretching you into the person you were meant to be. Joseph had to go through the betrayal of his brothers, the false accusations, and the prison before he could step into his destiny. David had to endure years of running from Saul before he could take the throne. Even Jesus had to go through suffering before he could fulfill his purpose. Pain always comes before promotion. Struggle always comes before elevation. If you are going through pain right now, don't curse it. Some of you are carrying wounds from years ago. You are still holding on to the pain of what they did to you, what they said about you, how they left you. But listen to me. You cannot heal from what you refuse to confront. If you keep ignoring the pain, if you keep pretending it doesn't exist, it will only grow. Healing begins when you acknowledge the pain, when you allow yourself to feel it, and when you choose to learn from it. If you were betrayed, that pain was meant to teach you discernment. If you were rejected, that pain was meant to teach you self-worth. If you failed, that pain was meant to teach you resilience. Every pain has a purpose, but if you don't allow yourself to process it, you will miss the lesson. Some of you are still stuck in cycles of pain because you have refused to grow through it. You are still angry, still bitter, still holding grudges. But the pain you carry is not hurting the person who caused it. It is only hurting you. If you keep holding on to it, it will consume you. But if you allow it to teach you, it will transform you. The seed that stays in the ground will never become a tree. It must be buried, broken, and pressed before it can grow. In the same way, your pain is not burying you, it is planting you. It is preparing you for something greater. The question is, will you let it? Stop running from the pain, stop avoiding it, stop suppressing it. Instead, ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? What is God trying to show me through this? Because if you learn the lesson, you will come out stronger, wiser, and better than before. You cannot move forward if you keep avoiding the very process that is meant to elevate you. Your pain is not a curse, it is a tool. Let it teach you, let it refine you, let it make you stronger. Because on the other side of this pain is the person you were always meant to become. Wounds that are not healed do not simply go away. They grow, they spread, they infect every part of your life. Unhealed wounds become infections in your spirit. What you do not deal with today will deal with you tomorrow. What you do not confront now will control you later. Too many people walk through life carrying pain from the past, pretending they are fine, acting as if nothing is wrong. But inside, they are still bleeding. They are still wounded from the betrayal, the rejection, the disappointment. And because they never allowed themselves to heal, that wound begins to affect every area of their life. It affects how they trust. It affects how they love. It affects how they see themselves. Pain that is not healed turns into bitterness, and bitterness poisons everything it touches. A person who has been hurt and never healed will see life through the lens of their pain. They will assume everyone will hurt them the way they were hurt before. They will push away people who love them because they are still holding on to the memory of the ones who broke them. They are living in the present, but still trapped in the pain of the past. Some of you are still carrying wounds from years ago. You still hear the words they spoke over you. You still remember the pain of the betrayal. You still feel the sting of the rejection. And even though time has passed, the wound remains open because you never allowed yourself to truly heal. Healing does not happen by accident. Time alone does not heal. Time only covers up the pain, but if you do not deal with it, it will show up again. It will rise up in your emotions, in your decisions, in your relationships. You can try to ignore it, but pain buried alive never dies. It only waits for the right moment to resurface. Look at your life. How many decisions have you made out of unhealed pain? How many relationships have you sabotaged because of wounds from the past? How many opportunities have you walked away from because you were afraid of being hurt again? Pain that is not healed does not stay in one place. It spreads. It moves into your thoughts, your actions, your choices. It affects the way you see yourself and the way you see others. There are people today who cannot trust because someone broke their trust years ago. There are people today who cannot love because someone hurt them before. There are people today who refuse to take risks because they failed in the past. And the saddest part is they do not even realize that their past is still controlling their present. When a wound is left untreated in the body, it becomes infected. The same is true for the wounds in your soul. When you do not allow yourself to heal, your heart becomes infected with anger, resentment, and unforgiveness. And an infected heart will always spread pain to others. That is why hurt people. Because their wounds have not been healed, they end up wounding others. You must make a decision. Will you allow your pain to define you, or will you allow yourself to heal? You cannot keep living this way. You cannot keep allowing old wounds to control your life. You cannot keep blaming what happened in the past for the choices you are making today. At some point, you must say, enough is enough. I will not live in this pain any longer. I will not allow my past to dictate my future. I will heal, but healing is not passive. Healing is intentional. Healing requires honesty. It requires looking in the mirror and admitting, yes, I am still hurting. Yes, I am still carrying pain. Yes, I need to deal with this. Because until you acknowledge the wound, it cannot be healed. Some of you have been praying for breakthrough, but what if your breakthrough is waiting on your healing? What if the reason you feel stuck is because you have been carrying things that were never meant to be a part of your future? You cannot move forward while dragging old wounds behind you. You must let them go. The past cannot be changed. What happened, happened. The people who hurt you may never apologize. The situations that broke you may never make sense. But you have a choice. You can either stay wounded or you can heal. Today, make up your mind. I will not let past wounds keep me from future blessings. I will not allow an unhealed heart to rob me of joy, peace, and purpose. I will heal because my destiny is too great to stay stuck in my past. Healing is not something that just happens with time. It is not something that comes automatically just because you ignore the pain or distract yourself with other things. Healing is a decision, and it is a process. Until you make the decision to heal, you will remain stuck in the same cycle of hurt, bitterness, and regret. Many people think they will heal when time passes, but that is not true. Time does not heal wounds. It only covers them up. Just like a wound on your body needs treatment to heal properly, the wounds in your heart and soul need intentional care. If you do not treat a physical wound, it can become infected and cause more damage. The same is true for emotional and spiritual wounds. Some of you have been carrying pain for years, hoping that one day it will just disappear. But hear this, healing requires action. It requires you to confront the pain, not avoid it. It requires you to let go, not hold on. It requires you to choose peace, not dwell in anger. If you do not make the decision to heal, you will live your life in emotional bondage. Healing is not easy. It is a process that requires honesty. It requires you to admit, yes, I was hurt. Yes, I am still dealing with this pain. Yes, I need to let go. But the problem is, most people do not want to face the pain. They would rather bury it, suppress it, or pretend it does not exist. But ignoring pain does not make it go away. It only makes it stronger. Some of you have been smiling on the outside, but bleeding on the inside. You have learned how to function with pain. You have learned how to move forward while still carrying the weight of past wounds. But deep down, you know you are not truly free. You are not at peace. You are still living in the shadow of what happened to you. You must make the choice. Do I want to be healed or do I want to stay broken? Jesus asked the lame man at the pool of Bethesda, do you want to be made well? That seems like a strange question. Of course he wanted to be healed. But Jesus knew something important. Not everyone is ready to be healed. Some people have become comfortable in their pain. Some people have built their identity around their wounds. They do not want healing because healing requires change. Healing is a process. It does not happen overnight. It requires patience, it requires work, it requires you to be intentional. You must choose to forgive even when it is hard. You must choose to let go even when it feels unfair. You must choose to move forward even when your emotions want to stay stuck in the past. Healing is a series of choices that you must make every single day. Some of you are still waiting for an apology before you heal. You are still waiting for closure before you move on. But let me tell you something. Healing is your responsibility, not theirs. If you are waiting for someone else to give you permission to heal, you are giving them power over your life. You do not need an apology to be free. You do not need closure to move forward. You just need to decide that your peace is more important than your pain. The process of healing is not easy, but it is necessary. If you do not heal, you will bleed on people who did not hurt you. You will push away people who love you. You will miss opportunities because you are still holding on to the past. Unhealed pain will always show up somewhere in your life. It will affect your relationships, your decisions, your emotions, and your future. Some of you have been asking God for breakthrough, for a fresh start, for a new season. But how can He give you something new when you are still holding on to old wounds? God cannot pour new blessings into a broken vessel. He wants to heal you, but you must allow the process to happen. You must be willing to let go. Healing is a decision. It is a process. But most importantly, it is possible. No matter how deep the wound, no matter how long you have carried the pain, you can be healed. But the choice is yours. Today, make the decision. I will heal. I will not let my past define me. I will not live in pain when peace is available to me. I will do the work. I will trust the process, and I will move forward because my future is too important to stay stuck in my past. There comes a moment in life when you must decide that you will no longer be a prisoner of your past, that you will not let what happened define you, control you, or dictate your future. There comes a moment when you must make the choice to truly let go. Letting go is not just about forgetting. It is not about pretending that the pain never happened. It is about releasing the weight of the past so you can walk freely into your future. Too many people hold on to things that no longer serve them. Old wounds, broken relationships, painful memories, thinking that somehow keeping them close will give them control. But the truth is, the more you hold on, the more you are held back. Some of you have been carrying burdens for far too long. You are still holding on to the pain of what they did to you, the words they spoke, the way they left. You are still clinging to the disappointment of what didn't work out, the job that didn't happen, the opportunity that passed you by. And because of that, you have become stuck. stuck in the emotions, stuck in the memories, stuck in a cycle that is keeping you from moving forward. But hear this, you cannot heal from what you refuse to release. You cannot grab hold of your future while gripping the pain of your past. If your hands are full of yesterday, how can you receive what God has for you today? Letting go is a decision. It is not based on how you feel. It is based on what you know is necessary for your future. Feelings will tell you to hold on, to replay the hurt, to keep rehearsing the offense. But faith will tell you to trust the process, to surrender what you cannot change, to believe that God has something better ahead. Some of you are afraid to let go because you think it means losing control, but the reality is you were never in control to begin with. You cannot change what happened. You cannot make people do what they refuse to do. You cannot force situations to go the way you wanted. Holding on does not change the past. It only keeps you from moving forward. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful ways to let go. And forgiveness is not about saying that what they did was okay. It is not about excusing bad behavior or ignoring the pain. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself. It is about saying, I will not let what they did keep me in chains any longer. Some of you have been waiting for closure, waiting for an apology that may never come. But what if the closure you need is the decision to move on? What if the peace you are looking for is found in releasing the burden? You do not need an apology to let go. You do not need an explanation to move forward. You just need to decide that your future is worth more than staying stuck in the past. Letting go is also about surrendering control to God. It is about saying, I trust you with what I cannot change. I trust you with what I do not understand. I trust that you know what is best for me, even when I do not see it yet. When you hold on to the past, you are saying that you trust your pain more than you trust God's plan. But when you release it, you are making room for Him to bring healing, restoration, and new beginnings. Some of you have been asking for a fresh start, but a fresh start requires an empty hand. You cannot receive what is next while holding on to what was. You must clear out the old to make space for the new. The old hurt, the old resentment, the old disappointments. These things cannot go with you where you are going. The truth is, letting go is not a one-time event. It is a daily decision. You may wake up one day feeling free, and the next day the memories may try to pull you back. But every time they come, you must remind yourself, I have let that go. I am no longer carrying that. I am moving forward. Do not let what happened in one chapter of your life define your whole story. Do not allow a past season to dictate the rest of your journey. What is ahead is greater than what is behind, but you will never step into it if you keep looking back. Today, make the decision, I will let go. I will not be bound by my past. I will not allow yesterday's pain to rob me of today's peace. I will release what I cannot change and embrace what is ahead, because my future is far too valuable to be held back by what is behind me. There is a time for everything, a time to mourn and a time to rejoice, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to hold on and a time to release. And there comes a moment in life when you must decide that it is time to move forward. You have cried enough tears. You have spent enough nights wondering why. You have replayed the past in your mind long enough. Now, it is time to step into what is next. It is time to embrace healing, to embrace growth, to embrace the new chapter that is waiting for you. Because the truth is, you cannot stay in the place of pain forever. Too many people live their lives trapped in a cycle of memories, regrets, and what ifs. They keep looking back at what was, longing for what they lost, holding on to what is no longer there. But life is always moving forward. Time does not stop. The world does not pause. And if you refuse to move with it, you will find yourself stuck in a place you were never meant to remain. Some of you have been through deep pain. You have faced betrayal, rejection, disappointment. You have experienced loss, failure, and heartache. And for a season, that pain was real. It was heavy. It was overwhelming. But seasons change. Just as the sun rises after the night, healing comes after the hurt. Just as winter gives way to spring, pain gives way to restoration. But you must be willing to move with the season. You cannot keep defining yourself by what happened. You cannot keep introducing yourself by your wounds. You are more than what you went through. You are more than what they did to you. You are more than the pain you endured. Your story does not end in brokenness. It is only a chapter, not the conclusion. Some people do not heal because they do not want to move on. They have become attached to their pain. It has become their identity. They do not know who they are without the heartbreak, the resentment, the struggle, and so they stay in the same place year after year, telling the same story, carrying the same burdens. But hear this today. You are not created to live in the past. You are created for movement, for purpose. You must decide to step forward. You must make up your mind that you will no longer allow the past to hold you captive, that you will no longer let what happened define your joy, your peace, or your future. You have been in this place long enough. It is time to go forward. Some of you are waiting for a sign, waiting for a perfect moment to move on. But listen, healing does not come when you wait. It comes when you walk. You do not feel strong and then move forward. You move forward and then strength comes. You do not wait for every wound to disappear before you step into a new season. You step into the new season, and that is where healing happens. When Israel was standing at the edge of the Red Sea, they were trapped between their past and their future. Behind them was Egypt, the place of bondage, the place of pain, the place of suffering. In front of them was the unknown, the uncertainty, the fear of stepping forward. And in that moment, God did not tell them to wait. He did not tell them to sit in their emotions. He said, go forward. And as they moved, the sea parted. As they walked, the way was made clear. Your breakthrough is on the other side of your movement. Some of you have been stuck in the in-between. You are no longer in the pain of the past, but you have not fully stepped into the healing of the future. You are in the middle, waiting, hesitating, unsure. But hear me today. It is time to walk. It is time to take the next step. It is time to believe again, dream again, hope again. Stop looking back. Stop revisiting what you already left behind. Stop rehearsing the pain, the failure, the disappointment. What is ahead of you is greater than what is behind you, but you will never see it if you keep looking in the rearview mirror. Today, make the decision. I will move forward. I will not be trapped in yesterday. I will not let my past hold me hostage. I will step into my next season with faith, with strength, and with expectation, because I know that my best days are still ahead of me. Life is a journey of seasons, and every season has its purpose. There is a time to hurt, a time to heal, and a time to move forward. But you cannot live in between. You cannot stay in the place of pain when healing is available to you. You cannot keep looking back when your future is waiting ahead. You must make the choice to let it end. Let it hurt, let it heal, and finally let it go. Whatever has been weighing you down, whatever has been keeping you stuck, it is time to release it. You do not have to carry the burden of your past any longer. Your healing is in your hands. Your future is too valuable to be held hostage by what is behind you. So walk boldly into what is next. Choose peace over pain. Choose faith over fear. Choose healing over history. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of something greater. Let go. Step forward and trust that what is ahead is far better than anything you leave behind. Good luck on your journey, and may you walk in healing, strength, and purpose. Thank you